Welcome, everyone, to our weekly Torah learning of spreading more light into the world through sharing stories and journeys. We always like to start off with giving because how we give, that's how Hashem will give to us. Let's give generously so Hashem can and will give us generously. So we're going to put some coins in the tzedakah box. Please join me from home. We're dedicating this class in memory, before anything, of Rabbi Tzvi, who was murdered in the most horrific way, Rabbi Tzvi Kogan, and he left behind a widow, his wife, and a family, and the entire world is mourning. The entire Jewish world is mourning. He was kidnapped, and I hope went really fast in Dubai, and only because he was a Jew. And we are dedicating this learning in his memory. It's beyond horrific, and there's no words. And his neshama should have the highest aliyah. And since he was a shliach of the Rebbe, he was really a shliach for all of us. And he was a holy soul. They say that when people die for Hashem or because they're Jewish, that means they were a very high soul. And Hashem should comfort his family and his widow and all of us, and just send Mashiach because we really need it. It's really sad. It's really heavy. It's really, really hard. But the Lubavitcher Rebbe responded to these things like not to cower in fear, but to increase light into the world and to continue his legacy of spreading light, because that's what he would want. And we don't know the answer why, but we will know why when Mashiach comes. And until he comes, which it's in our hands to make him come, which we have to. And we owe it to Tzvi's beautiful wife. And we owe it to him because I'm sure he wants to come back. He fought for his life. And he was an incredible light. And I don't know if anybody watched the funeral. It was really, really heartbreaking and really hard to watch snippets. But it was pouring rain, like a rain that I haven't seen. Like it came out of the blue. It was the skies were crying. The skies were hysterically crying like we were down here. And we're going to continue his light, and we're going to literally, he can't do mitzvahs anymore, but he is with the holies of the holies. He's with the tzaddikim and Hashem. There's no question about it. So we're dedicating this learning in his memory. And if everyone can please do a mitzvah in his memory. And if you want to donate in his memory, I don't know if you guys saw, but Ivanka Kirshner, she was a Trump, and her brother-in-law both committed to sponsoring $1 million to the Chabad Center over there. So $2 million. Plus there is a fundraiser going around for the wife so she could have everything that she needs and not have to worry about funds right now. And just, we could help her get through like that. So in a short while, I will put the link in the class. So his neshama should have the highest aliyah. And Hashem should comfort us because enough is enough and we're broken people. Like it's really hard. But we must just continue his legacy of spreading light and love into this world. Okay, so we're going to say Refuah Shalema for Chana Yenta Rivka Bashendo, Chana Bela Bas Devora, Yosef ben Devora Leah, Rezel Bas Adas, Refuah Chaim Meir ben Simachasha, Yosef Shlomo ben Risha, Devora Leah Bas Yafaliba, Esther Bela Bas Yehudas Chana, and Mercedes ben Esther. And we're including everyone in this list. Everyone that needs Refuah Shalema should have it immediately. We're dedicating this class in merit. Deborah Leah Andruzier is an incredible one of our speakers that comes on very often, but she also shares Shara B'Tachon under our umbrella, which is on our YouTube channel, Chaya Mink. You could check it out. I believe we're up to 32 or 33 classes that we've done already, and we're going to finish it in the next short while. And they're incredible, and people really, really tune in from all over the world. And she really has the gift, and she's a Shara B'Tachon enthusiast, and wears so many more hats. But her son, she got into it after October 7th. Her son is in the army. And he went into Gaza, and it was really hard for her, and she started to learn Shara B'Tachon. And her son went back into Gaza now with his unit. He is now a commander. So we're going to say his name, and we're going to include everyone's names for all the Chayalim and all the Chaylo and all the IDF and all the safety of all the Jews around the entire world. I'm just going to ask everyone to stay muted. Safety for the entire world. So we're going to say Rafael ben Devorah Leah. He should be safe and keep his unit safe and do Hashem's will, what he wants, and really take care of what needs to be taken care of. And the war should end, and we should just live in harmony together and peace. And Mashiach should come immediately because we need him so badly. I do this class weekly in memory of my dear grandmother, Rivka Dina Bas Yosef Yehuda. I hope you're proud. And in memory of Chaim Dov ben Betzalo. To save a life is saving a world, and he saved many in the Soviet Union. He was known as Chaim Ber Bolshansky, and my grandmother, Bela Bas Betzalo. I hope you're proud. So we're going to say Tehillim, Psalm Chaf, Kapitel Chaf together, if you can get your Tehillims, for the safety of all the Jews around the world, and that the 101 hostages should come home immediately, and we should just have miracles. So please join me. Lam Natseach, Mizmar LeDavid, Yancha Adonai B'Yam Sarah, Yisagevcha, Shem Elhei Yaakov, Yishlach Ezracha Mikaidesh. Umitzian Yisadecha, Yiskar Kol Min Chaisecha, Ve'elascha Yidashna Sela. Yitain Lacha Chilvavevcha V'chol Atzescha Yimalei. Neranana B'Shua Secha U'B'Shem Eloheinu Nidgol Yimalei Adonai Kol Mishal Secha. Ata Yadaiti Ki Yashia Adonai Mishicha Yanehu Mishmei Kachai B'Gorai Seisha Yiminai. Ela V'Rechev V'Ela V'Susim V'Anachnu B'Shem Adonai Eloheinu Naskir. Hema Karu V'Nafalu V'Anachnu Kamnu V'Nisaidad Adonai Yashia HaMelech Yanenu V'Yayim Karenu. So we just said Kapitel Chaf, which is Psalm 20. And the Tzemach Tzedek said if we only knew the power of Tehillim, we would say it day and night. So ladies, if we can, whenever you have a spare moment, please take out your Tehillims. You could do it in English or Hebrew. If you're able to read Hebrew, the words have a lot of powers. And just have good intentions for our brothers and sisters around the world for safety. Okay, so this class today is a really special class. It came about by surprise. That's usually how the classes come about. And the topic of the class is the Mikveh miracle and the birth of my children. But first, I'm going to tell you how I know Liel, and I'm going to tell you how I got her on the class, because it's all about connection, and we need connection in life. And every single speaker that I have some sort of connection with them, and I hope it will talk to you, and I could inspire you today. So I got a phone call on, I believe it was a Monday. I'm not sure if it was, I believe it was a Monday. And that morning, my husband asked me, "What are you doing today?" So I said to him, "I'm very busy from 2 on, and in the morning, I'm not 100% sure." So he said, "Okay." 3 minutes later, I get a call, like a frantic call from my friend, Livish Brofman. "Chaya, what are you doing today? Are you free?" He's a good friend of my husband. And I said to him, "What's up? What do you need?" So he's like, "Well, there's Shliach Rabin in South Africa. My friend, basically his son-in-law is married to a Rabin, so it's his brother. And he has these 2 women that are coming, and they really need tefillos answered, prayers answered, and they want to go to the Ohel. They've never been to the Ohel. They've never been to Crown Heights. I need someone to show them around and maybe like direct them on the bus." So I blurted out, "I'm not going to do it half. I'm going to do it a full mitzvah. I'm going to take them. I'm also going to take them around." For those of you that don't know, I started doing tours in Crown Heights, best tours in Crown Heights. So if you want to book me for your shuls or just a group of friends, you totally can. It's epic. So I said yes, because I try not to push away a mitzvah. And they said they're meeting me at 10 o'clock. So I'm just going to give you a couple of the details so you can get it. 9:30, they messaged me that they're on the corner. I'm like, shoot. So I wasn't ready because I was just coming out of the shower. I said, "Give me 4 minutes." Thank God Hashem gave me a gift that I can get ready in 4 minutes and look like I got ready in an hour. So I was out the door within probably 3 minutes and eight seconds. And I met them at the corner because I didn't want them to be alone. And we had an hour and a half to kill. The most amazing thing in Crown Heights now, there are sponsors. It's sponsored an Ohel bus, so you can go to the OL. It leaves about 4 or 5 times a day, every few hours. It's $7 round trip. Okay, it's a steal. It's a gift. So whoever donated it, the gift, who pays for it, thank you so much. I actually know one of the sponsors. They won't want me to say it publicly, so I'm going to say thank you because I benefit from it. I get to go to the OL whenever I want. And it's just easy. Like, go to the corner, hop on the bus, not have to worry like how you're getting there, and it's also very affordable. So and for anyone that wants the OL bus schedule, you could reach out to me privately and I'll send it to you because I want to, if you know an olive, you want to share an olive. So I know something good. So I get onto the bus. So I meet these women. And I'm going to show you the pictures right after. They were supposed to send, just side note, they were supposed to send a video and she did not, unfortunately. I don't know why, probably because it's a South African time. But when I get the video, maybe next class, I could show it in the beginning, or we can do like a Farbrengen style, like in the future with them. So I hop on, I see them and we hug, which we'll see later. Like, we were strangers, but within 10 seconds, we were besties. Their name is Karen and Luna. Hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Sorry. They have accents. And basically, we had an hour and a half to, it was 9:30 and we had to get on the bus at 11. So I decided I'm going to take them to Kosher Town, which is one of the best cafes, best hidden secret in Crown Heights. It's the front of the store is a supermarket, and then the back of the store, there's the most delicious foods that you can find, and everything's made with love. That's her specialty. Her name is Shashi. She's amazing, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. It's interesting that I'm mentioning her, but I'm working on an RCCS auction and she's sponsored. And I really highly recommend, if you're ever in Crown Heights, to check out Kosher Town. And she just opened up a new location. Not too far from our other location, but on the other side, and she has like baked goods and the best iced coffees and the best breakfast and awesome lunch and salads and dips for Shabbos and Erev Shabbos food. This is not a paid programming. I'm just telling you that when I love something, and I want to share it with you. Really delicious food. And I took them there. We got a breakfast special and we ate. But on the way, it was very interesting. I met one of our speakers, and you're going to see in that spoke, Hani from Ukraine, spoke on the class a few weeks ago. And we bump into her on the street. So I'm like, give us some inspiration, some words of inspiration. And she did. And it was just great. That whole day, I was just meeting awesome people. So I take them and then we're walking back and I'm telling them stories. And my goal was that I'm just taking them to the OL, coming back. And my aunt was coming in from Miami. Robertson Hani Lipsker from Bell Harbor, Florida. You guys know her. She spoke on the class. And I wanted to hang out with her a little. So I had in mind that we are going to end as soon as I got off the bus. Okay. So this is how it went down. We meet, we're best friends within 2 minutes. We're talking. I'm like, let's talk on the bus. We have to eat. Now we're eating. We're focusing on the food, the good food. So we're talking a little bit, and cutest mother and daughter friendship. And I love South Africans. And we get to the bus and we can't get on the bus. And while we're getting on the bus, Faggy Brofman, which is Leivish Brofman's wife, came running with muffins for them, which was so sweet. I'm like, Faggy, we didn't take pictures. I'm so upset we missed a picture together, because if anyone that knows me knows that if you know me, you have a picture with me in my phone. So basically what happened is we couldn't get on one bus because there were so many people waiting in line. They're like, wait for the next bus. But little did I know, on the next bus was the bus going to, Jews are very smart. So it's close to the airport. So they figure it's $7. And then I take an Uber just for like $10 from there because it's so close. But if they take an Uber from Crown Heights, it's like $70. So there were more suitcases than people on the bus. I'm talking about but I'm like, I just go with it. Don't get annoyed. Don't get annoyed. Don't get annoyed. Just go with the day. Go with the flow. So I'm going with the flow. And the guy's literally trying to jam in the suitcases. The bus driver was such a good sport. I'm talking about, okay, so it was mostly people that are not from Israel. They don't speak English, and they're singing, and it was festive and it was beautiful. And they're leaving probably to go on shluchas, like outreach back home. And it's me and these two incredible women that I just meet, so another lady sitting next to me, and a couple from Israel. So I turned to the couple from Israel and I'm like, have you ever been to the OHEL? And they said, no. I'm like, okay. So then I'm like, started telling inspirational stories. I have a lot, and maybe in a few weeks from now, I'll share some of them with you if we can make it happen in honor of my birthday, my big birthday. But I will, in return, if you guys will share with me why this class is meaningful to you. It's going to be a Farbrengen. So send me, we'll talk. I'm going to send out a blurb, but like I would love to hear from all of you why you come on weekly, because we have repeats every week, and why you tune in after. Anyways, excuse me, a little cough. We're on the bus and I'm telling them stories, and all of a sudden I realized there's no more singing and the whole bus is listening to me talk. I'm like, oh my God, okay. Every single person was listening like intently. So I was like, but I really wanted the people behind me to hear the stories, to get inspired, that never went to the OHEL and never personally met the Rebbe. So I was like being very animated and all into it. And they were really inspired. And the daughter like was very, very emotional the whole time. She was crying and crying and crying. I'm like, don't cry. We're going to the Rebbe. Like, you're going to be okay. Okay, fast forward, we get to the OHEL. I tell them what to do. We go in and we have like a short time because I wanted to make it back on the bus. At the OHEL, we meet Label Wolf, or by Label Wolf, who is awesome. He spoke on our class. He has like um, a bunch of centers in Australia. He's a big speaker around the world, and I'm very lucky and blessed. I'm friends with his wife and now friends with him. And I know his wife because she grew up with my mom and they were childhood friends. And it's just really special. She tunes in weekly. She might even be on. And I'm like, Label, can we take a picture with you? So we take pictures. You'll see later. I'm meeting literally celebrities in Chabad. Okay. All the celebrities that day we're meeting, like the big deals. And they go into the OHEL. First, we went to the Rebbitzin, and I told them that I like to go to the Rebbitzin first, which is the Rebbe's wife, because the Rebbe said that my wife has direct access from up there. She's the daughter of a Rebbe, the previous Rebbe. And so I always go in and I say, make sure whatever I say to your husband, to the Rebbe, like comes through. Then I started, and I really try whenever I can to go to the Rebbitzin Chana, which is the Rebbe's mom, who's like a second walk, like few doors down. I don't want to say doors, but a few cavers down. And I thank her. I started to thank her for giving us the Rebbe. She is the Rebbe's mom. And then I went into the Rebbe and I told them what to do. I'm like, okay, if you're wearing leather shoes, it's better not to wear leather shoes. Knock before you go in. This is what you should say if you've never been, if for 30 days. And I'm like, for sure, read it in English because it's fascinating what you're going to say. We lit a candle. And I'm like, just speak from your heart, like really speak to your heart. Anyways, I'm on one side and they're on the other, and I see they're like praying, and they were told by their rabbi, they prepared them well. They already came with, I believe they came with writing. They came with letters already. So they ripped it up. I told them what to do. They put it in, and the mother was crying hysterically. Like she was hysterical, not the daughter. And the daughter was hysterical also, but not then. And I was like, wow. And I just took pictures because I felt like they would want it, like not to share. But of course, anything I'm sharing, I asked permission, and they said I could share it on this class, and I could share this on this class. And okay, so we leave the OHEL, and they said that was so beautiful and such a nice experience. And oh, one of the things that I do after the OHEL, I go to Rabbi Klein. He's the Rebbe secretary, who was my neighbor, who I feel really close to. And I always say, like, make sure everything I ask for comes true, because he's right near the Rebbe right now upstairs. And so we get back on the bus, and it's great. And there's on the bus. Now we got on the nicer, fancier bus. So there's like tables. So I'm sitting across from them. And while we're sitting, there's two women. I mean, these two, like Kara and her mom, were sitting down. And now the daughter, Kara, was hysterically crying, just tears coming out of her eyes. And I'm like, oh no, Hashem, like, I can't take this. Like, this really hurts. It's really hard to watch an older person cry. Like, it's not fair. And I'm just like, listen, guys, you're in good hands. Just remember this line: Trach good wird sein good, which means think good and it will be good. And happiness breaks through boundaries, enabling what is lacking at present to be granted. That is actually something that the Rebbe wrote to me in a letter. So it's a real line from the Rebbe, and it's brilliant. And I always, always, always try to say it anytime like the darkness comes inside. I'm like, happiness breaks through boundaries, enabling what is lacking at present to be granted. So I'm telling her this. Anyways, we get off, and I'm ready to say goodbye. But before we do, I'm like, no, there's something else going on. So I got her something of the Rebbe to have, like something that someone had like a certain type of like wine thing. I'm like, drink it with your drink. You never know. It's holy stuff. Like anything that came to me, I just did it because I knew this day was like really out of the box, not the typical, like, it's not like wasn't in my plans. And then I said to them, I looked at the mom, and this is so not my vibe, just putting it out there. Okay. I wouldn't do this usually, ever, ever, ever. So it wasn't my words. And I said to her, did you ever go to the mikvah? And she's in her 70s, and she looked at me and she's like, no. I'm like, do you want to go to the mikvah? And she goes, no, 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 I don't want to go dip in the mikvah. I said, no, I meant, do you want to see a mikvah? So she like calmed down. And okay, so I'm like, okay. So Faggy Brofman met up with us, and I sent her on a tour around Crown Heights with them. I told Faggy where to take them, and Faggy took them on her own to all these awesome places. She went to the Rebbe's house to show them outside. She went into like different stores, the baby store, an art gallery, really cool places. And I said, okay, there's something else bigger. I'm gonna have to meet up with them again if they agree. So I call up the Mikvah on Carroll Street, and they usually charge a lot of money for the tours. But I said, okay, today I need a favor. Like, you need to get these people in. She goes, to dip? I said, no, 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 no. I need a tour. It was literally like 2 o'clock, and 4 o'clock, she set up a tour for me. I said, great, I'll be there. But then I said, okay, I could send Faggy, but I felt like I wanted to be there on the tour. Quickly call up the rabbi. Hey, how are you? Do you know that your friend has never been to the mikvah? And he's like, what? And I'm like, yep, she's never been. We're going to see a mikvah. Okay. I know that mikvah is a really big deal. And basically, I'm going to give you a tiny little background about this daughter. She has two gorgeous children. She married a non-Jew. She has a whole journey story, which she will come on and speak one time. And her husband now, unfortunately, is giving her a really hard time. Put all the funds in a trust. And in South Africa, it's really a little bit corrupt. The more money that you have, it's pretty much everywhere. Whoever has more money wins. And that's why she was crying hysterically, because she works really hard. She has a job, but she doesn't have a lot of funds, and she could have a lot of funds, but and she needs to get everything together, and she's just crying and crying and crying. Now, I speak to this Rabbi Roskin, who's from Brooklyn Heights, and I tell him a little bit about the story, and he said, Chaya, the Rebbe always spoke about mikvah connecting to like just good things happening and like marrying Jewish. And he went into in detail, and I was like, okay. So the rabbi's already on it in South Africa. He said he's gonna work on it, and I'm going to the mikvah. So I'm coming with them because I felt like it's really important. We walk. I'm like, guys, you're gonna come now. It looks like a regular building, but never judge a book by its cover. Just looks like a old, like not old, but like nothing special. But I'm like, you're gonna go into the most special place in the whole wide world right now. It's the most beautiful place I've ever been. This mikvah is so special. Basically, a couple of brothers got together, and they did what the Rebbe wanted. The Rebbe wanted us, like his chasidim, his people. And we're all his people, but in Crown Heights especially, he wanted us to have the best. And for a very long time, we didn't have the best. Okay. The mikvahs were older. It was really more about outreach than inreach. It's okay if we don't have new. They need it more than us. It's okay. But it's really not okay, because if our cup is not full, it's really hard to overflow to other people. That's with anything in life. And I'm preparing them that it's the nicest mikvah. And anyways, we come in, and I'm probably not telling you a lot of details of the story, but I'm just a snippet. And Liel greets us, and she's like, hi. I'm like, she's like, we have a couple of minutes because, the mikvah's opening, people are coming. So we're going to do this like fast. It's going to be a little rushed. I'm like, it's okay. And I whispered to her, I'm like, make sure to talk about the mitzvah of retroactive the retroactive mitzvah of mikvah. And she looked at me and she said, thank you so much for telling me, because she probably wouldn't have focused on that. I said, sure. I said, really, really focus on it. I'm like whispering it to her. She's like, got you. Anyways, I want to tell you a little bit about Liel, how I know her. I go to this mikvah. I'm so thankful to Hashem that we have this mikvah. I skip to the mikvah when it's mikvah night, because I feel like so pampered. It's the most beautiful room. It's so pure. It's so relaxing and chill and beautiful, and everything's perfect. And if you're OCD, this is the mikvah for you. But it's OCD gone good. It thinks of everything. And it's just like the most amazing feeling and the most amazing people working there, and everyone's so respectful and kind, and it's just a really cool place. But a couple of times that I came to the mikvah, Liel was sitting behind the desk to welcome you, and it's done very like you don't meet anyone, and all of a sudden I'm like I hear my voice in the background. She's watching our class, okay, on her little screen. She tunes in weekly, and I'm like, is that my voice? And she's like, yeah, and I burst out laughing, and I'm probably like red in the face. I'm like, I'm so embarrassed, okay? But I was just so blown away how far this class goes. Now, me and Liel didn't know each other so well, and I didn't know how she got this class. Someone must have shared it with her, just like I asked you in the beginning of the class to share it. And it was just amazing. Anyways, we go for the tour. She gives us a little tour and she starts speaking. And it turns out that she has a personal story of the mitzvah of mikvah for when you're older and how it could really, it's the only mitzvah in the Torah that you can go backwards. Like if you don't keep Shabbos 1 week, you can never make it up. But with mikvah, if you go to mikvah one time, even in your 70s or 80s or 90s, you can make up everything. And she has this personal story, and I'm watching these two women, their faces, and I'm like, great, it's not like preachy. It's not, she's telling them a personal story, and that's my way of teaching. I believe it works through journeys and stories. And I'm like, I need you to speak on my class this week. Okay, so that's why she's here today. But on the way out, the mom, her hands were behind the back, and she was very, very like deep in thought. And she said, no one ever told me about mikvah. I said, what? I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, I've been to synagogues, Orthodox synagogues, not Chabad. I never heard about mikvah. And I'm like, really? And like, I literally had tears in my eyes because I felt like everything was meant to be the puzzle pieces. And Emir Hashem, Bezrat Hashem, she will hopefully go to the mikvah and then everything will be good for her daughter. And then she's going to get all the blessings piling in. Everyone could say amen, that her daughter, Kara, should just have everything. And I told her I want her to remarry and she's going to remarry Jewish one day. And she goes, you think so? I'm like, yeah, I really do. So we're going to give her that blessing together. We're a powerful number together. Sitting together, and if everyone could really think about her and internalize and pray for her that she should get everything that she needs, and she shouldn't have to worry about money, and she shouldn't have to worry how she's going to take care of her kids, and she should just worry about healing and going to the next phase of her life, and please God very soon go to the mikvah herself and start a Jewish life with her Jewish husband, her future Jewish husband. That's my blessing to her, and I hope she's going to listen. But I really love them very much. I met strangers and we left as besties. So now we're going to hear from, before we hear from Liel, I'm just going to show you some pictures, okay? So we're going to share some pictures of how they came to Crown Heights, just so you can visualize it, and here goes. So we're going to pull up the pictures now. Okay, so this is when they went to after, like a little later, after they came back from the well, they went to the Rebbe's house. Okay, we're gonna see the next picture now. Okay, when they came in, we had some time to kill, so we went to 770 outside and we took a picture. And there were a bunch of guys outside taking pictures, and I said, can we please skip the line because we're in a rush and I really want them to get a picture of 770, and they were very kind, so thank you. Next picture. This is at the Ohel where we met Label Wolf, Rabbi Label Wolf. It was very special. He was in for South Africa, from Australia. And this is us when we first met. Our first picture that we met, we were outside Chocolate. It's also a really good spot. And we were outside. And this is after the mikvah. We went to an incredible wine store, Eber's Wine, and we got a blessing from the man behind the counter. It was awesome. This is Hani, who spoke on our class, and she gave us words of inspiration, and she was just wonderful and welcoming. This is at the Ohel. You see them praying intently. This is at the mikvah. They're blown away at the beauty. This is Liel telling them about her personal story. You see how they're listening. They're really into it. Hold on, we have a couple of more pictures. Okay, so this is at the Mikveh, the Mikveh. You see, that's Faggy Brockman, and that's myself, and these lovely ladies. Okay, this is at the Mikveh. You see that insanely gorgeous waiting room. Okay, and then we're going to show one more picture. So this is, if you zoom in, you'll see them praying, and there was another one of them praying. This is on the bus. You see, we're having a Farbrengen together, and then we have one more to share. Okay, so now we have with us today, you got a little background of who Liel is and how she came on. So we're so excited to have her. Give me one. So Liel, welcome. And if you could tell us a story that you shared that day and a little bit about what you do. Liel is a mikvah attendant. She also is a college teacher. She wears a lot of hats. She also grew up in Russia, and she'll tell us a little bit about it. We did a lot of classes on the Soviet Union, so I want her to touch on what it was like. She's going to give us a little bit of history about her background, and we're so happy that you're here. Thank you so much. Welcome, welcome.
Thank
Honor
you so
to have
very
you.
much. Kaya, it's really humbling. It's really amazing, amazing. And I'm so privileged to be here with all these awesome, beautiful ladies. Before I'm going to share my little background, I want to start with a little story. Um, Yesterday, when I was reading like a bedtime story for my younger one, I opened and I'm like, what I'm going to start with? Beside the story of the mikveh, the miracle, and I happened to, bump into this beautiful story about Rabbi Rashab and his, chassid. Once he came to him, Rabbi Rashab had his birthday last week, and he's the one who actually made the Lubavitch Yeshiva. It was very special. And if we're talking about Russia, his father, Rabbi Mar Rash, is buried in Lubavitch, in Russia. I was privileged also to be there. The story goes like this, and I'm going to make a connection. What I mean by this little introduction: the Chosid came to the Rabbi Rashab, to the Yechidus, and this Chosid happened to be a diamond dealer. Okay. And Rabbi Rashab welcomed him. And, he started his conversation with complaint like, Rabbi, why do you make such a big deal about all this simple Jewish people, like Jews, like ignorant, not learned, not scholars, not Talmidei Chachamim, not tzaddikim? Why are you even dealing with them? And the Rabbi smiled and he answered him, you're the diamond dealer, right? So show me like a little diamond. I want to see your diamond, because Rabbi Rashab actually saw that he had a few diamonds like in his pocket. And the Rabbi Rashab asked him, okay, so what's the big deal about this stone, this diamond? Doesn't look so pretty to me, doesn't look so amazing, so special to me. And the Chassid told him, in order for you to appreciate his greatness, his uniqueness, you need to be an expert. And the Rebbe Rashab answered this Chassid that the same idea is about the simple Jews. The same idea is about the simple Jew who is trying to be his best, trying as hard as he can, to do kindness and goodness, to increase in light, to do beautiful mitzvahs the way he wants and the way he can. So, in order for person to appreciate his greatness, you need to be an expert. You need to be a rabbi. So we're here together in this beautiful shir. And by the way, I'm a very private person. I'm a very shy person, although I teach kalat, right, but I don't do it in group. I'm a previous shluch. I did the, teaching class, Zoom live, but for this, so to speak, criminal project, I wanted to come for Chaya because this beautiful lady spread so much light, spreading so much kindness and so much worthiness. And it's actually contagious. So I want to be like her. I really want to be a partner in crime. So we're going to do a little bit of criminal, project over here. So a little bit of myself to make it a little bit juicy. How did I end up being an attendant, being, a college teacher? I was not always like this. I grew up in a Soviet, back then it was Soviet Union. It was actually a part of Soviet Union. It wasn't Russia, rather Russia. It was Central Asia, Kazakhstan, where the father of the Rebbe was buried, Almaty. That's where I come from. At age of 13, all my family, with myself, we made Aliyah to Eretz Kodesh, Israel. And, it was a beautiful, caring, very high educated family, but we were not frum. So I didn't keep any mitzvah back then when I was, up until 16, I didn't keep any mitzvah. So we learned in Sunday school Hebrew here and there. I saw once a picture of the Rebbe, but that was it. So we came to Israel, and first time I went to the public school, and then my mom was very into, high academic level of the school, and she saw this Haredi school in North Galil, Migdal Emek, and it was a beautiful school. But one thing, it was a religious Haredi Orthodox school. So I said, Ma, you want to send me there? You want me to dress, tznius clothing? You want me to daven there? Do you know what you're, which troubles you're gonna have? She goes like, no, 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 go, be like this over there. When you come home, be like all of us. Okay. I said, fine, fine. But back then, I was always yearning. I was always, very spiritual. I was always trying to find meaning in my life, trying to find, who is above, and believing in Hashem. I just didn't know, tangible, practical, how to actually do it in my life in a practical way, because I never learned. So in that school, I mamash fell in love. I said, I'm going to have this type of family. When I'm going to grow up, I'm going to marry a Jew with a hat, black and white. And I was telling my family when I was sitting literally with my, miniskirt, with my jeans, and I was telling it to my family. They were laughing. They didn't believe me. Fast forward, I end up marrying, also Baal Tshuva, guy who went through yeshiva. I was very young, 19-year-old. And obviously, when you first get married, obviously you're sure that everything will be rosy, will be beautiful. You're gonna have, when you in such a passion and in such a high and fire as Baal Tshuva, obviously Hashem will give me, 10 children right away, obviously. So fast forward, I got my first son with no any problems. It was a very easy pregnancy. Then when he turned 10 months, we went on Shlichus to Riga, Latvia for 3 years. And then over there, I was teaching, I was, busy with community. And all of a sudden, time went and I got pregnant, but I was losing baby after the baby. I actually had a stillborn there. I remember it's a very vulnerable for me, but I think it's very important just to, share these details, to encourage people. Why do we actually, go through all these challenges? And why did I actually start with this story of diamonds? Because I would not be here, okay? I would not be that person who I am right now if Hashem didn't polish me. I would not be, and sometimes, in order for a diamond to have this brightness and have its unique, beautiful light, it's supposed to be polished. And sometimes, as human, we also go through so many dark moments, so many, questionable situations that we don't know why. But, in the future, Bezrat Hashem, we will see the Tova Nireva Nigle, the real reveal good. So fast forward, I had my, it was a shlichus. It was a beautiful, meaningful 3 years. And then we decided that we need to move to New York or Israel, just because for the health purposes, if we want to have more children, because I was just keep losing and losing, baby after the baby. So fast forward, I came, first we went to Dayton, Ohio. Over there, I got pregnant. And again, sense of humor of Hashem. Hashem thought that I'm so strong and like, whew, I can handle it. I lost my beautiful daughter at 8-month pregnancy. And I read the Igros, right? I opened the book where the rabbi write to his Hasidim. And I was searching for answers, like, what do you want from me? Like, I'm trying to keep the mitzvot already the best way I can. I covering my hair. I eat only kosher. I was teaching your children. I was, involved in so many shiurim, was creating this and that. Like, Hashem, seriously, like, what do you want from me? And I got a letter, Mazel Tov on the birth of your baby daughter. I'm like, excuse me? I just lost a baby daughter. That was really cruel. That was really cruel. And then in this letter, it was also written, you're going to move to New York and you're going to have a doctor with a special pill and it's going to be a cure for you. So fast forward, we end up moving to New York. We came to Crown Heights. And as a very naive, but very, Baal Tshuva who is on fire, trying to find the answers, I came to the class of Rabbitzin Handel, who is a Rabbitzin from Tzfat. She's Israeli. And she made me laugh. She goes like, Atem rotzim yeladim, you want kids, you need to open in your house a class of Taharat Mishpacha and also Tanya. Okay, so, and I'm believing, okay, what else can I do? I have nothing to lose. I came home, I'm like, that's it. We are opening it. We opened Shul Tanya, which, by the way, exists up until now. It's already almost 14th year, this Tanya class. It alternates different location. By the way, every Wednesday as well, we have like this Tanya class, so it's my like mama's baby. And also Taras Mishpacha, I started, like being very into the whole idea of Taras Mishpacha. Obviously, I was, observing Taras Mishpacha, but I decided like, okay, maybe I need to do a little bit more, a little bit less, whatever. Meanwhile, this is all the aspect of spiritual. Obviously, I was going to the doctors, and obviously the doctors were saying, you know what? Forget about it. Just focus on your one son. Say thank you. Go, I was almost doing my master's already. Go just finish your career and forget about it. Like, enough already of torturing your body. And the more they were telling me this, the more adrenaline came to my heart and my, whatever throat. I was like, no. It's gotta be something different. I need to do something extra. I need to do something else. So fast forward, I decided that in addition to this class, I will take my two very, very close friends I will do chavruta with them. We're gonna learn, this extra laws of very particular. We're gonna be very focused and very meticulously, very carefully. We're gonna review Teras Mishpacha and sense of humor of Hashem. Both of them got baby girls, but not me. I got another miscarriage. Okay, so I was talking to Hashem. I'm like, hello, like what's going on over here? Somebody listening? And then I decided, okay, I'm gonna go to daven to Ukraine, Baal Shem Tov and Alter Rebbe, and I heard there is so much, so many miracle stories over there. I have nothing to lose. I'm gonna go. So I went. I davened. I literally was crying like a baby over there, like literally lying down on the cover of Alter Rebbe. And obviously, I was doing all this natural stuff, like diet, yoga, acupuncture, you name it. Changed my ktuba, added another name to my, I have two names, Liel Ruchama. And then I decided, okay, maybe I had like this idea. Maybe I heard that there is a very powerful aspect to the mikvah if somebody from your relatives will go to the mikvah at a very, old age when they never did it, and they can actually bring brachas to you. So I asked a very close relative who happens to be a grandmother of my, children. And I asked her, let's do a chuppah for you. And by the way, you're going to be a bride. They were celebrating their 60th anniversary of their marriage. You're going to be a bride. This is how you're going to do it. I'm giving you this special instruction, this white cloths, and you're going to do the best of your ability. And I asked Rebbetzin Leah Chilov to assist me with this, since she speaks Russian. And I told her, please ask her to daven for me. So she took her to the Rebbe's mikvah on Union, because back then it was 14 years, like 13 years ago. It was only that mikvah, and maybe just to be open another one, but not the mikvah where I work. And she did it. She did it for me. And I brought flowers for her. I greeted her, and I said, Mazel Tov, right now you look like a kala. And she looked at me and she said, Liel, I even did the bedikas. I even did this, use this intern. Like I did every detail of this mitzvah. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it, because, knowing her, she could be very, rejecting this and oppositional, but she did it. And Baruch Hashem, mamash miraculously, thank God, 2 months later, I could sustain the pregnancy of my Baruch Hashem Sheina. It was a miraculous birth. It was, she was born preemie, but thank God she was normal and healthy. And right now she's the boss. She knows that we're going to talk about her, and she tells me, Ma, don't talk about myself to the random ladies. It's embarrassing. But all I'm trying to say that it was a very loaded journey. It was right now I'm telling you all about it, like very like in snips, in very short fragments. But what I went through this 9.5 years was basically, this roller coaster of emotions, roller coaster of what if I'm not gonna have anymore? What if like I'm punished? Or what if this and that? All different, the pain was real, but nevertheless, somehow, I don't know, I think it was a gift from Hashem that gave me this resilience and gave me this hope and this determination just to go through this. and believe in this power of Mikveh, and talk to the grandmother and trying to persuade her. I was joking, like, okay, so she can tell me no. I will come back and I will ask her again. I have nothing else to lose. Thank God, after her birth, I had, thank God, my third child. Also very surprisingly, while I was nursing my Shayna. My whole point over here and my message, I will say that we never know what could work, but I know from my experience, and when I teach my brides, right, when I teach my colleagues, mikveh could be an incredible gift if we will know how to unwrap it. Because every month when we come back to this beautiful, mitzvah, we can actually go like in a spiral way. We can elevate our marriage. We can bring, renewed, rejuvenation, renewal to our marriage. It's not easy one. And I never, 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 by the way, whoever knows me, yes, I have a very, big sense of humor, and I'm very positive, very optimistic, but I will never sugarcoat. I by myself, even right now, as a college teacher, we're all human. I have also questions. I have also, different moments in life where this mitzvah could be very complex, very not easy and not comfortable. But nevertheless, all the benefits, all the beauty behind it, all the meaning behind this mitzvah is so, so much greater. So, I feel like I'm selling Yiddishkeit, like when you go to the store, you go to the salesperson, he will tell you all this, good stuff about this product. So I'm very passionate about this mitzvah. I'm very passionate about this particular, journey to bring couples in Kedusha and Tahara. I actually, my muzzle, right? I never win. Chaya was previously talking about raffles, right? And prices. This is so not me. I never win anything, okay? Never. So once I went actually to Israeli Farbrengen. It was a big, event in Crown Heights. And whatever I put my name, they were like raffling the dollar of the Rebbe or I don't know what. I said, okay, Hashem, if it's mine, it's mine. If it's now, bye. I'm gonna go to sleep. So in the middle of the night, Rebbetzin Handel, and she is my kind of mentor and mashpia. She calls me Liel. 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, I'm sleeping. Just letting you know. Because like you won. I'm like, what did I win? You won $1 of the Rebbe. I'm like, okay. Now what? She was like, no, you don't understand what type of dollar you won. You need to meet me tomorrow. So I went to meet her in person. And this is something so, esoteric and so beautiful and so meaningful to me. Maybe because this push, this, sign from above, I actually went and got trained to be a college teacher. And I end up not being a social worker, and all my, energy and all my time I devote to the mikveh, because on that dollar of the rabbi, this dollar of the rabbi was actually specifically for the group of women who came to ask for a bracha to have children, and the rabbi told this group of women to go together. It was a group of women from Manhattan. It was probably from, if I'm not mistaken, from Rabbits and Slonim, this dollar. bill, and the Rebbe wrote on it. It was Yud Aleph Kislev. So that dollar was for this group of women who wanted to have a bracha for children, and the Rebbe told them, go and spread the knowledge of the mikvah and learn about Teras Mishpacha, and don't stop. So whenever I have like any doubts or any like opportunities to actually spread the knowledge, I do it. I humbly agree, and it's a big zchut. I don't know if I have more time, but I think it's worth to try. Let's put it this way. It's really worth to try.
Liel, you do have more time, but can we just share the videos and then we'll speak after the videos, if that's
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely. Yes.
Okay, so now we're going to share the video of the mikveh that you work in, so everyone could see how beautiful it is. So this is the virtual tour of the mikvah on Carroll Street that was built. Millions and millions of dollars were put in because the Rebbe really wanted this for Crown Heights. These amazing brothers did this with the money that Hashem gave them, which was such a gift to the community. And I'm going to talk about it after the next video of the Rebbe talking about what mikvah is all about. It's very short and wonderful. So we're going to pull it up. Give us a moment.
Der Mieste von Taras haben gesprochen. Was der Vater gekommen darf sein, die Mikvehs und darf sein Versuch ist, wenn nur mit dazu ankommen. Und Hagbol ist was Und in einem Neifner soll sein, ein Mikveh Joffe berufen ist. Und ein Mikveh Joffe begashmis, bis begashmis kipschuto, bedugme von Loschen Agmore, Klaf Joffe, Die Joffe, al derich se, wenn geht zu Kesle am Mikveh und dem Maimsche Mikveh mit alle Brote Adwormsche Maseh. A viele Eiche der Prusder und dem Ort, der Neif Maseh, geht da rein in Binyan am Mikveh.
So you saw how the Rebbe cares about every detail of the mikvah that should be beautiful. And this mikvah, I just want to say, I'm organizing an RCCS auction. I hope none of you know about that organization. It's a cancer organization that help Jewish people around the world. They have support. They help financially. They help with whatever is needed. Literally hold people's hands through going through this terrible disease. And next week we're going to be hearing from an amazing Shetelmacher, which is a wig maker, Yafi Begun from Brazil, and she is going to share stories how she really helps people with that. And the Rebbe was very into hair covering. But I want to just say for the RCCS auction, it's going to be in Crown Heights, December 8th. I'm going to post in the link, and anybody that wants, you could buy prizes, even if you're not in Crown Heights. It's the most amazing packages that are there. And one of the packages are, in one of the packages, the mikvah were so gracious. To go to the mikvah is not cheap, but to upkeep this mikvah doesn't even cover the cost. So it's $50 each time if you want to use a shower and bath. And it's a lot of money for every single month if you need to go for some. But they're sponsoring six mikvah times plus parking. And I just want to say thank you. And I said I'm going to spread this all over because I want everyone to know about this mikvah. So if you're ever in Crown Heights, if you don't need to go to the mikvah, that's fine, but book a tour because it's worth it. You will be blown away by the beauty, the mosaics. I mean, it's one of the prettiest spas. It looks like a spa. It's not a spa, it's a mikvah, but one of the most beautiful mikvahs I've ever seen in my life. I've been to many, many mikvahs. Plus, I've been to many nice places, and I've never seen anything like this. That it's just like there's great mikvahs. Don't get me wrong. There's other mikvahs in Crown Heights that are wonderful and special, but this one is just extra special because of the details of the mosaics, and they really focus on. There's 3 mikvah rooms that you can dip. So a lot of people can go at the same time, and people come in from all walks of life, in every background, different communities. They come to this mikvah because they know that they're going to be treated with the most respect and dignity. And it's just beautiful and clean and just very, very special. So when you know an Aleph, you teach an Aleph, and this is something that I know that's special. I literally skip to the mikvah. I want to just say something. I'm going to share a short story. I'm not going to share all the details right now. Maybe in the future I'll share more. But there was a story, and I was given permission by the person to share it, but I'm not going to share any names. So please don't ask me the names. There was a story years ago. The mikvah in Crown Heights, they were under construction, and someone, they weren't careful to finish it. Unfortunately, I'm sure it was a mistake, but everything was done very slow and there was a hole in the mikvah, and somebody that went to the mikvah from Crown Heights went into the mikvah and she fell, and she was bedridden for many, many months. And it was a very, very sad story and a hard story, but the Rebbe got a hold of the story, and he was very, very upset. And he was so upset about the story that the mikvah wasn't beautiful and properly done, that someone got hurt, that he went ahead and he sold 770, like a real sale. And he said the following. He said, before a shul, before you have a shul, you need to have a proper mikvah. And he made the sale, and everyone got really bent out of shape and upset and worried. And they never saw the Rebbe so upset. And it was on Shabbos that he addressed this. And he said, they wanted to buy back the building. So the Rebbe said no, and they lost a lot of money. I don't know the exact number, but a real sale, a lot of money. And he said, no, they're not going to lose out on the sale. It was sold. It was actually sold, 770, the 770 building. And he said, I don't care, but there needs to be a mikvah. And he gave a lot of blessings that day. And there's a lot of details. I'm not going to share all the details right now. But basically, right after that happened, there was also a fire in 770. And people connected it to spirituality about the fire. It was told, the older Hasidim will know about this. And they immediately started fixing the mikvah. And why am I sharing this story? It's a personal story from someone, but I was given permission to share it because if I can, number one, yes, it's really important to have beautiful buildings. Yes, it's really important to have a beautiful home. But if your community doesn't have a mikvah, make sure it has a mikvah, because it's not good for the community and it's not good for the people. And like you heard from Liel, her story, she shared a story where she had unfortunately, so many things that happened in her life that were so hard and so painful. And sometimes it was a connection that she realized that maybe the grandmother of her children never, and it's not her fault that she didn't know, because she came from Soviet Union, Russia, from what I understand. And over there, you couldn't even say that you were Jewish, okay? It was very scary. My grandmother didn't go to school, in order to go to school on Shabbos, she had to go to school. It wasn't a choice. My grandmother was very religious. She cut her finger, And so she shouldn't have to write on Shabbos. They literally, like, the parents didn't even tell some of the kids that they were Jewish, because if the kids went to school and said, my parents are practicing religion, my parents are going to the mikvah, the parents were arrested and never seen again. Like, you heard it on the classes. We did a lot of classes on the Soviet Union. So my birthday's coming up, and like Liel said, I have this real blessing that I get to do this for, and I get to, not that I have to, I get to do these classes. I do this. It's not a job. It's not a paying job. It's a spiritual job that I do weekly. And I literally sleep with this every night. And I fill out on the calendar. You could ask my husband, it's true. Because he's like, it's like the calendar again. And I'm constantly like putting in the puzzle pieces where to fit. But there are some communities that I'm made aware that doesn't have a proper mikvah and they have to travel. So if you're listening in, like, reach out, make a GoFundMe. It's more important than anything. And if you don't have the best mikvah, if your mikvah is not as beautiful as your shul, then it's time to up your game and make it beautiful, because that's what the Rebbe wanted. And it should bring a lot of blessings to the world. And I want to give a bracha to that person that the story that happened to. She should have long, healthy, amazing years with everything that she needs in her life. And Hashem should just bless everybody with just everything that they need, and they should get the merit of going to the mikvah. And Liel, really, like, that story, I was just, my mouth was open, because I thought you're just talking about the mitzvah of retroactive the mikvah, how you go one last time and it brings back, it's the only mitzvah that you can do that. But meanwhile, you had a personal story. This woman, I don't know the ending of her story, and hopefully I'll follow up and tell you there was a really, really good ending with her daughter, and they're not crying anymore, and they only have happy tears only. And it's like a real thing. Like, we think like it's not a burden. Like, we get to light Shabbos candles, not we have to light Shabbos candles. We get to have a connection with God. We get to go to the mikvah. Not everything do we have to understand, but we need to do it because Hashem wants the best for us. We are his children, and he wouldn't ask us to do something even if we don't understand it. But there's something in mikvah that's holy and special. So I'm asking everyone, like, if you're listening to this, I don't even know who tunes in. Go to the mikvah if you can and do something extra to bring people closer to the mikvah. And I'm going to be vulnerable for 1 minute. And please don't call me after and be like, hey, have you heard of Boni Olam? Please don't do that. Don't call me and ask me about my situation. But I'm just saying, please, in my merit and my husband's merit, that we should have children. Please, God, very soon. And we will have children. And I know Hashem's going to send us children. Go to the mikvah for me. I got someone to go to the mikvah for the first time ever. And one day I'm going to ask her if I could share the story. And a baby was born after that. And I didn't understand why I had to do something. And then it made all the sense. But not everyone that you see, even if you don't assume everyone goes to the mikvah, like, really spread it, spread the light. We need Mashiach. We're living in darkness. We just lost our shliach. And it's a world problem, and it's everyone's problem. He was taken. He was the scapegoat for us, and for whatever reason, but we need to do more and just do more light. Someone on Facebook wrote, he doesn't understand why Chabad goes in all these unsafe places. So I wrote to him, I said, I'm just curious, because in New York City, I don't feel safe. So where am I supposed to go? So it's not, the Rebbe wanted people to go out on shluchas to spread light and love. And we should be so grateful to these shluchim that literally are risking their lives literally every day, spiritually and materially, and not having their family near them to do this. Like, best to say, like, how can I help, instead of saying, like, you shouldn't. No, they should. You should. And the mikvah is really, really important. So if you guys can get involved in some way of making the mikvah in your communities more beautiful, do it. If you can sponsor something extra that will make someone feel more pampered, like nicer robes, newer towels, do it. And do it in my merit, okay? Like, I would really appreciate it, and tell me that you did it in my merit, and I'll be really grateful. And yes, I'm doing this, like, I'm putting myself out there because I want others to benefit from the power of mikvah and the power of the waters. So just remember that, we're so lucky. We're so lucky that we have the Rebbe. If we didn't have the Rebbe, I don't think we would be able to wake up in the morning today, none of us, after this brutal kidnapping and murder of I'm going to say, Hatzadik, Rabbi Hatzadik Tzvi HaKohen, like Kogan. I don't even, he's literally kadosh, he's holy. And we owe it to him, and we really owe it to the Rebbe because he left us everything, how to deal with tragedy. And he said, when there's tragedy, we have to bring in more light. And by us getting upset and depressed, you're not giving anything to his neshama. You're not helping him. But when you're gonna go and make your mikvah more beautiful, and you're gonna go and you're gonna make sure someone puts tefillin on, and you're gonna make sure someone has mezuzah and candles and all the basics, what you need, kosher your homes, whatever you can, like whoever's listening and tuning in, do something extra in your life, even if you're religious. So if you're religious and you do it with more joy, because you need to do it with simcha. And if you don't do it, do something that's a little hard for you and say, I'm doing this out of my comfort zone for this guy that literally died al Kiddush Hashem. And yeah. So now we're going to go back to Liel, and we're going to have some questions that came in. So I'm going to ask Liel if it's okay. And I asked her off the screen. I just want to ask, okay. Someone asked a question. First, I'm going to go to that question. Someone asked, would you ask Liel to explain what a kala is and why is it important to go to the mikvah before the wedding?
Very beautiful question. Very important question. Kala is a bride. And now in Jewish marriage, we need to have a very special, very important preparation before the groom and a bride come and build the, home, hopefully on foundation of Torah and mitzvahs. And even if they not gonna, do all the mitzvahs, the whole idea of marriage in Judaism is very sanctified, very holy, very excluded, right? Secluded, meaning the thing that the groom is saying under the chuppah when he gives his bride ring, he says, "Areat mekodeshet li," right? You are sanctified to me. Right now, you belong to me. The same way why the kala is actually making 7 circles under the chuppah. She's creating this wall. She's telling and proclaiming to all the world that right now, off limits, this is my husband, right? He belongs only to me. So in order for us to have this beautiful union, you see how I hold my hands over here? What type of shape is it? A triangle, right? So we can have a chair with 4 legs, right? It's pretty solid. It's the most solid, chair. We can have a chair with 3 legs, but we cannot have a stable chair with 2 legs. So this is a basic analogy. If we can understand, why do we need a third partner in our marriage? Why do we need Hashem, who is on top, right? We have a man and a woman, right? A groom and a bride, and Hashem is on top. Hashem is a third partner. And ladies, who in our world don't need, not gonna, benefit from extra help? No matter how blissful is your relationship, no matter how deeply in love you are, the spouses in between themselves, we need Hashem, we need a divine spark, we need something divine in our marriages. So mikvah bring this element. Mikvah is actually, beside the whole, practical thing, the simple understanding that there is a brilliant system, as I call it, as a switch, right? On and off, right? We are separated from our husband after, during the menstrual period. And then by the end of the period, we need to count, like 5 and 7. And then, this 12 days, we don't have any physical touch, any physical relationship. But why are we doing this? The beauty of it and the meaning behind this is to build up, is to really to put the woman on the pedestal, to really to give her this honor that, there is a build-up, there is a respect in the relationship. She's not only, some physical objects, some, sexual objects. She's there to be a foundation of the home. So the Kala is a bride, and she is the one, and both her groom also going through special like coaching preparation, special classes that focuses on the laws of family purity, and also some, coaching about the relationship. It calls in Hebrew shalom bayis, harmony, peacefulness. There is a lot of beautiful wisdom that we can, read through our sources. There is tons of books on it, Baruch Hashem, and we're very lucky. This is like on one foot.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. So, okay, going back to the beginning, you grew up in Russia. So which part of Russia did you grow up in?
Right. So it was Almaty, Kazakhstan.
So that's where Rebbe Leivik was, the Rebbe's
Yes.
dad,
So
the Rebbe's
actually,
father.
my great-grandfather, Aaron Wolf, is buried mamash right to Rab Levi. That's why I called my 22-year-old Levi Yitzchak. Yeah.
Wow. So my great grandfather was Bezalel Washansky, and he used to learn with Reb Leivik. And when he was in Almata at one point, and my great grandmother, who I'm named after, cooked for Reb Leivik when there was no food. And his blessing came, he blessed her with long life, and all his children lived a long life. And what's amazing is that I with Reb Leivik and my grandfather, like it's just very special. So you must be so special that you come from that place. So if you can tell us a little bit, because we did a couple of series on the Soviet Union, what it was like growing up for you there. Like, did you feel like was it still communist? Did you feel like you could practice religion openly? What was it like?
So I'm not that old. I'm only 42. But still, I remember like this vivid, memories, not such a comfortable and pleasant memories. Classmates were like teasing, oh, Jew, whatever, dirty Jew, all these unpleasant things. So that's what I had in my memories. But as I stated before, my family didn't practice anything. Okay, so it wasn't that we were supposed to, at that moment when we realized that we want to go to Israel, we started to go to the Sunday school. We didn't go to Chabad, but interestingly, now I remember that my uncle is an artist, and once he brought a picture of the rabbi, like a painting, an oil painting, and that was probably the first time I saw the rabbi. But I remember what are the memories I have. I remember my grandfather ate, shmura matzah, but we were not practicing. We were not even interested in it, I guess. And I guess I was the terrorist, the revolutionary member of the family who brought everybody together. And speaking of which, I remember when I brought this news to my family that that's it, we're gonna kosher, the kitchen, and I brought shliach in Haifa, Chabad shliach, to kosher all my kitchen. My mom was in shock, but whatever, she loves me, she gonna follow, she will do it. And different, family events from now on was, very interesting. I was eating my stuff with a foil pan, and they were eating non-kosher food, but it is what it is. And that's how, when I got married, obviously I was able to do everything kosher in my house. Yeah, but it was funny. My grandfather, one of them was like, "Oh, okay, Liel, like, why do you need this? It's okay. You don't need this." Like, you don't need all this, don't be fanatic. Don't be fanatic. And I remember, by the way, when I had a very, spooky dream when I was pregnant with my firstborn, and he passed away before he saw him. And he appeared in this dream with a palace, okay? He was very negative, very, rejecting everything. And he said, I see you from Shamayim. I observing what you do, and I have so much nachat. I have so much joy what you do right now. And by the way, I know that you're pregnant and you're gonna have a grandchild, and please do a brit on time. And Taka, what happened, my firstborn son had a brit like 2 days after. But like, we're not gonna sit the whole night to discuss all the family stuff, but
We
cute.
might have to get you back.
Yeah, another cute episode about my other grandfather, who was actually very supportive. And he once whispered me when he saw that, some part of the family were like ridiculing, like, why do you need to be so fanatic? Stop, like, everybody living in Israel normally, you don't need to wear, like, look at you, you look like a model. You wanted to be a model, you wanted to go to the college to learn how to be whatever fashion designer, like, stop, where are you getting these ideas? And my grandfather actually came over to me and whispered, Liel, you're so lucky that you have faith. This faith will bring you so, you're going to be successful with this faith, with this emunah. Anyways, actually, with your permission, before I forget, you were talking about the great power of the mikveh and how lucky we are. As an attendant, I had like this crazy stories, and I just want to share it because it's very, vivid and explicit, illustrating the whole importance of the mikveh and how lucky we are now having all this luxury mikveh. And we may think, like, nowadays, who have Mesirut Nefesh to go to the mikveh, okay? It's not like back in Russia that we need to break the ice and go to the mikveh. So I'm not going to call the names. It's the privacy of the customers who come to our mikveh. I once was an attendant of a customer, and she came to Kines HaShluchos, right, to this conference of all the emissaries from around the globe. And she came, and me as a being professional, attendant, not talking that much, being very sweet and pleasant and patient. I never talk to the customer unless she initiates this talk, And before she did, she started to cry. I was like very uncomfortable. Obviously, I'm a human being. I thought, like, what shall I do? Shall I hug her? Shall I ask what happened? She said, you don't understand how lucky you are. I'm like, what do you mean? Because I need, in order for me to go to the mikveh, I need every month go with my husband to this cold spring, whatever, living waters, cold and dark, and I need to dip there. And whenever I come to New York, right, and I go to the warm and beautiful, luxurious mikveh, I feel like I'm a human being. And then another story, it actually happened right after when the war started, like after October 7th. And I had this customer, she came and, like regular stuff. I asked her, how many times you dip? How do you have lenses? Do you have jewelry? This is like a protocol that we ask every customer before she dips in the mikvah. And she said, I came here because my rabbi told me. And I said, what do you mean? Like, duh, obviously it's your mikvah night. Like, that's why you're here. But I didn't tell it to her, obviously. I thought in my head, like, why is she sharing this useless information with me? And she said, no, you don't understand. I'm here by myself with my baby, and my family lives in Crown Heights, but my husband left, stayed in Tel Aviv because he's very professional, like he speaks Arabic and he's in a very special whatever place in the army. He needed to stay. So she said, I'm here to deep for him, not because I'm going to have intimacy with my husband right now, because he's there and I'm here. But the rabbi told me, for the protection of my husband and all the soldiers, I will do it. Chaya, when I started to cry. Like sometimes we don't even know what are, people going through. And she came not for her own benefit, not for her own pleasure, so to speak, right? There is a mitzvah to have intimacy right after, you go back from the mikveh. And this lady, she came just because she wanted to protect the soldiers, just because she wanted to protect her husband. So I just wanted to share how the mikveh is very unique mitzvah and very not simple, and yeah, it could bring a lot of light, light. You wanted to ask something?
I do. I wanted to ask something, but before we do, are you okay if we do the roll call for the people that want to sign off? And then I want to ask you about, if it's okay, and I asked you before, a question about you had a stillborn and then you had a child that was in the 8th month. I don't know if it was the same, but
Yeah.
okay. So
Well,
we'll,
8 months and then 8 months, yeah.
okay, so we'll talk about it in a moment, and we're only talking about it not just because maybe we'll help one person listening to this class on how to be able to move on and live their life normally, because it's such a painful thing that you have to go through. I unfortunately know 3 young people that this happened to. I had someone that had to pull out her child from my school. She called me and she's like, I just had a stillborn. Someone else recently called me and she's like, how she opened up to me and she told me that she recently had one and she's really trying to cope and she doesn't have any other children. And I know quite a few people older that had stillborns, and I know quite a few people that are like mid-age. And I think you'll be able to help them if we have a little discussion about it, because I see that you're open and I'm very grateful that you're open, and to be able, because if you could help one person, then let's do it. It's like I shared a story. If I could inspire one person to bring mikvah into their communities, make it better and more special, it was worth sharing. Okay, so every week we do a roll call in honor of Rabbi Kuravskiy now. Rabbi Kuravskiy, actually this weekend is the weekend of Kinus HaShluchim, and we're thousands of shluchim from all around the world. This year is going to be a heavy one. Come together for inspiration and light and learn from each other and to get more educated and to hear more of the Rebbe's ways, and also to be wined and dined, because a lot of people are in far out places into the world, and this is their like energy for the entire year. So we are going to honor Rabbi Kuravskiy, and his neshama should have the highest aliyah. And he should really, I hope he's getting nachas from this class, and he should come back with the coming of Mashiach so soon. I know he's not finished, like he's not done working there, so he's working so hard upstairs to bring Mashiach. He's not one to just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. He's actually doing his work. So tonight on our roll call, firstly, I just want to say we have that tunes in weekly, and they asked us to please mention it on the recording. And if anyone tunes in from a different country that's a different time zone, let us know. We will give you a shout out. South Africa asked us to please give them a shout out that they tune in. She shares it on a bunch of classes. So so happy that you guys tune in and you enjoy the classes, and honored and humbled with all the feedback that you give. So thank you. So tonight we have Crown Heights, New Jersey, Australia, Brooklyn. We have Cedarhurst, we have Ottawa, Canada, we have Toronto, Canada, we have Minnesota, we have LA, we have Brooklyn Heights, we have Far Rockaway, we have Oak Park, Michigan, and I said Minnesota, and many more places. Some people already like, it was, a lot of people already left, but I'm sure other places, but we have all different kind of Jews on this class, and I like to call it the Kotel class. It's like the Kotel where we have, when you go to the Kotel, you have all different walks of life. And what's special about this class is that we're all so different, but we're all coming together united to learn Torah, like, and to inspire each other. Doesn't matter, like, where you come from, we're all Jewish, we're literally all the same. So thank you for tuning in. I want to just say thank yous. I want to say thank you to the Hashem and the Rebbe for giving me this opportunity weekly. I want to say thank you to the Rebbe for literally showing me that he's my partner in this class. Literally, last week, I'm just going to say this. We didn't have a live class, and the reason why we didn't have a live class, a lot of classes, sometimes if they're pre-recording, it's because it can't be live for various reasons, different time zones. So the next 3 weeks, we're not going to be having live classes. We have incredible classes in store for you, so please tune in. But last week I was really, really not sure what to do. And thank God I have a mashpia for the class, which is Shane G. Jacobson. So I want to give a big shout out and thank you to Shane G. Jacobson, who is my spiritual mentor and really like holds my hand through the class if I ever need something, and really just like guides me. And she's just like my, like support system, which is amazing. And the Rebbe said that everyone should have a mashpia, someone to speak to. And it's incredible. They're not a therapist. They are literally a spiritual mentor. And the Rebbe said that when you get a mashpia, the mashpia, it's as if I'm speaking through them. So anytime Shandy directs me, it works. So I called up about 8 people last week to do the class, and they were amazing ideas. And every single person said, I would love to do a class for you, but this week doesn't work. Now, I had a specific class that I wanted to do last week, based on the Parsha, and it just wasn't flowing. Okay. It just wasn't going. So I reached out to Shandy and I'm like, what do you think if I send out the recordings from last year? Like we have one with Mrs. Rivka Kuravskiy, who is a huge fan of this class. So thank you for all your amazing feedback that you give. And she is the wife of Rebbitzin, of Rabbi Kuravskiy, and Hashem should send her everything that she needs and want, and her husband back very soon again with Mashiach. She's like, gave me a bunch of ideas. Excuse me, sorry. She gave me a bunch of ideas, and she was like, Chaya, if last resort, use my recording. And then we sent out another recording last week, which was an incredible one as well. And I really wanted to share it. And Shandy said it was great. And I did share it. It was Mrs. Sternberg, how she spoke about the power, what it means to light Shabbat candles at the age of 3. And it's really, it was everyone's customs. It's not just Chabad customs before World War I. And she did a lot of research on it. So if anybody wants to listen to that, you can check the YouTube channel, CHAYAMINK, which is Chaya Mink, and you can see it. Or you could just reach out to me and I will share it with you. And I will try to put it on the recording as well, so you can see it in the descriptions. And then I called someone, and I'll tell you her name, because when you have, I have really wonderful people in my life that really believe in this class and believe in me. Mrs. Hannah Garowitz, she is my neighbor growing up. She is amazing. She runs the Beis Rivka seminary. And like Liel was speaking, that last week was Rebbe Rashab. He wanted yeshivas when he came to America, and in like under 24 hours, a yeshiva was born. And thank God there was Jewish life continued in America. A lot of people came to America not to keep Judaism, but it's going pretty strong, and we have to thank our Rebbeim for everything that they did. And Mrs. Garowitz is a role model to me, and she's just like such a nice, wonderful person. And we schmoozed and we spoke for a really long time. And she goes, Chaya, you know what I really want you to do? I want you to speak about Eretz Yisrael more. Like, I want you to get stories from people from Israel. And I said, that's so funny, because I'm interviewing someone on Sunday. His name is Dekel, and he was an incredible soldier and an incredible person. And he died al Kiddush Hashem as well. And he protected his whole unit, and we're doing it. And then when I hung up, I'm like, maybe I could somehow get it done today before Shabbat. So even though I told everyone that we're only having recordings, like no fresh new ones, I quickly, we put it together. It was the most amazing class. Okay. It's on the YouTube class. And what's crazy about it is he also didn't grow up with Torah, and right before he passed away, a few years before, before he went to the army, he was able to take a gap year before he went to the army to learn Torah. And his brother was like, "What are you doing? Like, they lived on like kibbutz, like, why are you doing that? Just go to the army, you're wasting time." He's like, "No, I want to learn Torah." And he went to Atlanta and he started to learn, and he saved his own money to he wanted to have a Sefer Torah. He didn't think he was dying, and he put some money aside to have a Sefer Torah. And he was a commander, and when he was getting sworn in with all his, he told the parents, I promise you, I'm going to protect you all." And guess what he did? He protected them all on October 7th. Everyone in that unit was saved. He fought off 9 terrorists, and he took the last bullet, and unfortunately he was niftar and he was murdered. And it's the most beautiful, beautiful recording. I hope you guys will tune in. Whoever's on, I'm going to post it in the chat box right now so you can watch it. But what's amazing is that the family are trying to raise money so they can complete his wish and have a Sefer Torah in his memory. And he's a tzaddik, so if anyone can give something, please do for the Sefer Torah. I'm going to post it also, the Sefer Torah. You could see what it's all about. Give something, like whatever you can. If you can give $1, give $1. If you can give $2, give $2. If you can give 18, if you can give 36, if you can give 180, just do it. He was an amazing person, but please, before you do it, I want you to watch Deckel's legacy. Literally, I see Fran nodding because she watched him, and it's so heart-wrenching, but it's also so beautiful to see such a beautiful, beautiful person who was taken from us too young. And my brother shared on the class, which was a big treat. He never shared from Miami. And my niece, which was a big treat, Esty, shared about him. And then his sister shared, and the brother started off with a dream that he had of his brother. And it's mind-boggling, the whole story. So I really recommend everyone to watch the recording. It's on the top of the YouTube channel. You'll see it's very important to watch. And I'm going to put you can donate to the Sefer Torah. Now, I really feel like I have the opportunity to bring Torah to your lives, but I also have to have the opportunity to get everyone to give tzedakah as well and give to amazing, amazing causes. And I said, let's kill 2 birds at one stone and keep getting more mitzvos in. So if an opportunity comes my way, I do it. And this really spoke to me, the Sefer Torah. So I shared it on all my broadcasts. We have, thank God, 5. And then everything that I know, a lot of people donated, but they still need another 28,000, I believe, or 30,000 to complete the Sefer Torah. It's 50,000. I don't know the exact number that they got in. So requesting everyone to give something, or if you know someone that could give something more, share it with them. But please share his recording, because I want everyone to know who Dekel was. In Israel, he is a hero. He's a hero all around the world. He's very well known in Israel. Anyone that mentions Dekel, they knew who he was. He was all over the news, and they did a lot of documentaries. And Hashem should give his family a lot of strength. It's really, really hard. And, I don't know, but before October 7th, COVID, it felt like COVID was the worst thing that happened to us. COVID's nothing. October 7th really changed us, broke us, but also united us in the most beautiful way. And we realized that we're just brothers and sisters, and we only have one person to look at for help. It's Hashem. So if everyone can please watch it, I'll be very, very grateful. And now we're going to go back to Liel. Sorry, I did a little pause. Oh, wait, I need to finish with my thank yous. I want to say thank you to all the ambassadors of the class. An ambassador is someone that shares the classes weekly with their chats, their statuses. And it's so easy to spread light into the world. You press a button, share, poof, light goes out into the world. So if you would like to be an ambassador today of this class, reach out to me, and I share my merits with you. So I definitely get merits from this class. So definitely, get on it. Okay. I want to say thank you to everyone that tunes into this class, and hope I didn't miss anyone. But lastly, I want to say thank you to my dear husband, who really supports my class. I mean, I sleep with my calendar. Okay. I'm not it's true. So he has to put up with a lot. I literally, this class is 24 hours on my mind, how to make this even better each week. And thank God the Rebbe and Hashem gives me amazing ideas. like I spoke to that lady in the beginning of the class. I said, did you ever go to the mikvah? Those weren't my words. Okay. I would never say that to someone. It's really not me. So those that know me know that I would never do that. Like I asked my mom, would I do that? And she's like, no. So even this class is not something that I ever imagined I would do. But Hashem had plans for me, and he said that you're someone that I want to make this happen. And thank God, it's like, yes, I planted a seed, but you could have a business, but if you don't show up to your business, it's not going to go anywhere. So you have to like work hard to make this happen. So it's very special. So thank you to everyone. And also thank you to Liel for being so vulnerable and sharing your incredible messages on this class. And going to be sharing something very important, an important topic. I was actually searching for someone to share about stillborns. And it's because back in the day, no one spoke about it. Even if you were pregnant, like you never said you were pregnant. Like I had no idea my mom was having a baby when she was having a baby. Like when she went to the hospital, we had no idea. That's just how it was back in the day. You kept everything inside. If someone, God forbid, had a sickness that was, God forbid, like no one was allowed to say. Like if you had diabetes, you weren't allowed to say it. Okay. You had to keep it a hush hush secret. But thank God we're living in much healthier times now. And the Rebbe wanted everyone to have a friend, a mentor. It's really important to have someone to discuss things with because it's just makes things better. We don't have to go through things alone. And if you feel alone, reach out and we will connect you to the right person. I will make sure that I connect you to the right person to help you with what you're going through. And I will try my best if I'm able to. So now we're going to hear from Liel a little bit more about her losses, even though it's painful. But now she has a smile on her face, if everyone could see. And she has so much to smile about. And she has so much nachat. And she's literally saving lives and bringing more lives into the world every day and teaching and inspiring. And it's incredible what you do. I feel so much luckier to know you now more than I did because I always liked you. I always thought you were awesome, but I didn't really know you. I had no idea that you had this whole story. I just thought, cool. I had no idea like you had a whole Baal Tshuva story, your Baal Tshuva story. I mean, everyone has a story. We all have stories. But you shared your story and it's amazing. So thank you. So Liel, we're going to give her a moment. She's going to unmute herself and she's going to share what it was like to know she carried a full-term baby and then it passed away and how you got through it. If you can maybe give some tips for those that need some guidance and how you got through it. Again, everyone's story is different, so please don't compare, but she's going to say her story and her experience.
Okay. First of all, just a general, message that we're just human. We are literally just human, no matter how passionate we are, how high standards we sort of, envision ourselves to do more and more and more and more. I think like what actually I realize about myself right now is you asking me, right? How could you, so to speak, heal and move on to your life? I will tell you honestly, I never healed and I never moved on with my life. I sometimes do, remember and like feel and what if I would have right now like all this, whatever, 8 children, right? Instead of 3 children, whatever, right? But what I can actually say that what helped me is all the spiritual stuff that we all try to do, learning Tanya. And we know that one of the teachings of the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya that there is a difference, right? When something like suffering or challenges in the life of the person that he's familiar with, that he's going by himself, obviously it will put you down. Obviously you will not have like a smile and say, oh, this is all for the good, this is all to, how we say in America, what doesn't kill you make you stronger, right? Like, come on, you're not gonna say this, not to yourself and not to the person who went through this. I will never forget. Um, in Dayton, Ohio, when it was the 8 month, loss in the, pregnancy, everybody saw me pregnant, like very, very heavy pregnant, right? And right after it was Lamed Shvat, 15 years ago, I came to this, event, Chabad event, and like people were, oh, Nebuch, okay, how do you feel? Okay, and obviously I don't judge these people. They mean well. They're really beautiful people. They try to be, supportive and gentle and sensitive. And I will never forget this lady told me, you know what? Just try to move on. I'm like, thank you. I was sitting there like in shock, like, okay, like, thank you for letting me know that that's what I'm supposed to do. But all this smiling and all this, joking that I'm sharing with you right now, obviously, deep inside, I felt like, okay, like Hashem, are we trying to play this hide and seek? Are we trying to play this, like, who is stronger? Like, I don't want to compete with you. Like, obviously, I'm nothing. I'm just a neshama going through this body experience, this world, and there is probably a whole mission, a whole, journey to my soul. And who am I to even ask you to even like complain and like be angry with you? But deep inside, of course, I have like had all these questions and all this, frustrations, anger, because we're all human. Obviously, I knew about the time, I knew about Bonei Olam, I got in touch with them right away when I came. I knew what second infertility is. I even made like few events in my house back then when I just came to Crown Heights. But I started with the Alter Rebbe. I started with his teaching, and I'm going to continue this thought. He teaches us about this, beautiful technique, beautiful, like tip, how to handle the challenge. You're allowed to be sad. You're allowed to be frustrated, but don't get depressed. There is a two, responses to the tragedy. There is, as you beautifully said, Chaya, that Rabbi always responds to the tragedy, that we cannot allow sadness, sink us and be doomed and be like motionless. No any actions, no any, like, that's it, life is over. This is not a good state. We allow to be sad, we allow to mourn, and this is a very healthy process. But together with this, we allow to have this mirurut, right? What's the difference between atzvut and mirurut? Mirurut is like a little bit of like sadness and yearning. But when you like heavily, very depressed, this is when you don't feel the meaning. This is when you cannot, move on and all this stuff. So what actually helped me, and I don't say, oh my gosh, I'm so genius. I'm just a human being and I'm trying my best. I think it was a gift from Hashem that he gave me that idea that fill up your day with goodness and kindness. Just redirect. Don't think always about yourself. Think how can you actually help other person. In other words, don't focus only on yourself. And I didn't share that after I heard this, commercial, how to have babies, to make shiur of Tanya and Taras Mishpacha in my house, I also signed up to be volunteer on Shifra and Poor, which is, driving, delivering food to the moms who just got babies. So was it hard for me? Of course, because hey, I just lost a baby and I'm delivering this food to this mother who having baby after the baby and year and after a year, and I just put it with a smile and like, what's left for me? A mitzvah, right? So what helped for me personally filled my day with meaning, and taking this focus, I'm not the center. Hashem probably has this journey. Hashem trusts me. Hashem believes in me, that I have this, unique, I don't know, force or whatever to do the stuff that I would not ever do, that I would need to go out of my comfort zone. Like right now, I'm literally going out of my comfort zone, right? It's like we're having this TMI information together with, people who I don't even know. But I feel it's very important, and Chai, you said it very precisely. A lot of us suffering in silence, and it's so painful because we should reach out. We should not dismiss it and feel like, oh, okay, Hashem probably wants me to have this experience because this and this and that. No, you should get help. You should get, pamper yourself. You should have, compassion on yourself. You should not only deal with spiritual things and like going from mitzvah to mitzvah and mivtzoim and all this shiurim. You should also pay attention what your body needs, obviously, because that's what Hashem wants from us. There is a beautiful mitzvah of nishmartam lenafshetechem. Not always I felt that. I will share very, honestly and be very vulnerable over here. Not always I thought, okay, probably Hashem wants me to keep, this and that, even more and more and more. And right now, as a college teacher, when I actually teach my young, beautiful brides, who I literally take as my beautiful daughters, and my daughter is very jealous. She goes like, "Mom, you like Michigan, you crazy. They're not your daughters. I'm only your daughter, and that's it. You're not gonna have any more daughters. Forget about it." And I told them, I told her, that I already a grandmother because I have 6 grandchildren walking on Kingston. Thank God, right? My colors have already at least like 7 children. Not one person, 7 colors, but I taught more than 7 colors, Baruch Hashem, very big schut. But all I'm saying is that we need to have this balance. Yes, going, passionate about all this, doing more and more and more, but then at the same time, take care of ourselves. I
Wow.
don't know if that helps. In
You're
other
so-
words, allow yourself to be in the moment, to be present, not to be compassionate on yourself. Allow. This is very important. And us women, sometimes we don't allow this.
You're such a beautiful person. And I like that you were so aware when that lady said to you what she said to you. I mean, she was just so not smart. Like, that's so not like people smart to say, like, you're gonna get through this. It's not something that you should tell someone that's going through it. It says in Tanya, even in Hasidus, like, you have to have, you could be sad, you should be, for yourself, you could be hard on yourself, but on someone else, you should be very gentle and soft and very caring. It's really important to remember that. And like, really think before you say something like, will this help this person? Is she the right, am I supposed to say it directly to her? Should I say it to maybe someone closer to her that they can give over the message? We have to be very, very careful how we address anything that people are going through. So thank you for sharing that. And someone asked a question, and if you're okay to answer, but I'm just gonna say it, and if you don't want to answer, it's okay. But someone asked, do you bury a baby that's a stillborn baby, and how do you get through that? Like, are you there? Are you?
Right. So actually, it's a very valid question. Yeah, there is an halacha. From certain age, like, it's a fetus. There is an halacha that you do bury. Yeah. But it's supposed to be in some very remote place. You don't like do any ceremony. You don't sit Shiva because it was not even born, this baby. But actually, which is very hard to do, give names, and I will not say that it was like so easy for me, but yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. You need to follow what the Raf, will tell you to do.
Yeah.
But
And
right now, I don't know where is it because I didn't do that, and parents don't do that.
so when Mashiach comes, you'll know why. You'll know why you had to suffer. But I'm so happy for you. I just want to give you a bracha that you see so much light in your life now. There was so much darkness, but you see so much light now. And you whatever you did was exactly what the Rebbe would have told someone to, like, fill your days, do for others. Like, you volunteered for Shifra and Pua. So it was almost like you were just busy with something else that you didn't have time to, like, well in your sadness. And yes, you are sad, but when you do for someone else, it takes away your pain because you're just very distracted. It's not taking it away. You're just distracting your pain, and you're busy, and you keep yourself busy. So it really, really does work. I'm just saying, I proof is in the pudding with anything in life that you're going through. But when you do for others, it really is for yourself. And it brings, my grandmother would always say, Babi Riva, Nikam Nisi Bia. She told me this, like, at the end of her life, she had dementia. So I guess it was part of the phases, but every day she would tell me the story. Nikam Nisi Bia, what you do for yourself. She would always say that to me. She was Russian and wonderful. And I guess it was like her first language. So she literally would say it every day. And it's true. Like, whatever we do for ourselves, whatever we do, it's for ourselves. So when we do good, it comes back to us. And you see so much good, and you have so many stories, and you're just really such a wonderful human. And Hashem should bless you and your family and your children and your future grandchildren that you're going to have. You should have so many grandchildren, and you should just keep bringing light into the world. And thank you so much. I didn't even know that you had this story that you shared about the stillborn. I had no idea. I just knew you had that story of Mikveh, where your family member went for you in her honor because she's never been, and she was older, and then poof, your family was born, and then, like, everything stopped, like all the darkness stopped, and you just had light. So I'm so humbled. Excuse me, I have a little cough. I'm so humbled that you took the time to share, like you said, TMI, too much info, but I do believe you're going to help a lot of people. And if someone wants to reach out, Liel, could they, like, if they need help that went through something, are you open to having them? You reach out to me, maybe I can connect you. But I hope that you got some, like, meaning and light from this, because we're not sharing just because it's a juicy story, and we're not sharing just because it's like, wow, like, we're sharing because there's a purpose in this. We want others to be able to smile again. And that's why we chose to share it. And of course, before I asked her permission. It's really important not to just ask people questions, but you have to ask them, okay, is it okay to speak about this? Are you comfortable with it? And respect what they feel. So thank you, Liel. And you should continue having so many merits. And I hope so many mitzvahs came out of this class. And we're dedicating all the mitzvahs that do come out of this class to our shliach, that was taken from us in such a terrible, terrible way, Rabbi Tzvi, and Rabbi Tzvi Kogan. And he should have a lichtike Gan Eden. I'm sure he is. He's with But we need to have it down here. So we need to bring more light so we could bring down Mashiach. So we all have work to do. And you can't just say, oh, Chaya does her class, she's doing it. No, we all have work. Liel has work, Fran has work, whoever's on has work. We all have work to do. We all know what that work is. In your communities, in your homes, we have to bring in more light and we have to connect more with Hashem. And together we're going to dance and we're going to see the real light, just like Liel is seeing the light in her life now. We're going to see it with the coming of Mashiach. It's going to be so, so bright. But let's make it happen sooner than later, because honestly, I can't take any more sadness. It's really like pulling me apart, and I'm sure it's pulling all of us apart. We have to do more and just bring more light into the world and be the reason someone smiles today. Thank you so much. There's going to be an auction, so please look out for it. On like, I really would love everyone to like come. It's December 8th in person in the JCM. It's going to be amazing. People are going to share their journey. Someone's going to share their journey, their cancer journey and how she's better. And then we're gonna talk about other things, and we're raising funds for our community. Unfortunately, too many people need it, and everyone that needs a refuah shalema should have it. I'm thinking about a lot of people I know need it. So please, Hashem, send it, and especially for Yosef Yitzchak Ben Bela, he should have a complete refuah shalema on everybody that needs. Thank you so much. I know this class went really over, but it was just too special. I apologize, but hopefully you enjoyed
Are
it.
you amazing? We're coming up with the Rosh Chodesh Kislev next week. It's all
You're
about
amazing.
light. And my
Okay.
birthday is the first Hanukkah. First day of
Okay.
Hanukkah.
Wow. So we're gonna bring in more light into the world. Thank you,
Yes,
Liel. People
absolutely.
were very excited to have you on, and they're like, "Oh, we know where she's a college teacher, but no one knew you had a story." So you're gonna be very probably bombarded to be a speaker now. But you're awesome. Thank you for sharing on our platform, and thank you for being you, and thank you for just bringing so much light into the world. You're awesome. I said awesome a lot. Have a wonderful, amazing evening.